Welcome back, dear listeners, to Wisdom from Above. Long ago, when Israel was ruled by judges, the people faced oppression under King Eglon of Moab. He was a tyrant whose cruelty knew no bounds. This story is found in Judges chapter 3. The Israelites had displeased the Lord their God and went after strange idols. The punishment for this sin was that God delivered them into the hand of this king of Moab, who traumatized them and made them pay heavy taxes. With the alliance of two other nations equally hostile to Israel, these nations successfully waged war against Israel and occupied their land, specifically the city of Palms. For 18 years, the Israelites lived under the heavy hand of Eglon. They lived in fear and hardship until they cried to the Lord for deliverance. Among the Israelites, God raised up Ehud, a left-handed man. This man was cunning and full of courage. With the help of God, he was determined to deliver his people from the tyranny of Eglon. With cleverness, he crafted a double-edged dagger, 18 inches long, which is about the distance from a man's elbow to the tip of his middle finger. This dagger was specifically designed for stabbing and was made in such a way that the offender would not escape with his life. He strapped the dagger to his right thigh under his clothing where it was concealed and unexpected. This is unusual, as a sword is usually worn on the left side to make it easier to draw out with the right hand. Along with other Israelite brethren, Ehud brought his country's forced tribute to the king. After presenting the tribute, he sent his companions away and told the king, who was seated in his private chamber, that he had a secret message from God for him. One thing was certain: Ehud gave the king the impression that he was harmless, as he carried no weapon on the customary left side. Yet, he was armed and dangerous in an invisible way. Intrigued to hear the message, the king dismissed his attendants and was left alone with Ehud in his upper chamber. With cleverness and bravery, Ehud gained this private audience with King Eglon alone, setting the stage for a bold and dangerous move. Now, King Eglon was a very fat man. As he rose to meet with Ehud, Ehud thrust the dagger into his abdomen with such force that the sword became embedded in Eglon's body and his entrails fell out. The sword disappeared into the fat, striking down the oppressor. Ehud then locked the door to the upper chamber and escaped, evading the king's attendants. The king's attendants noticed that the doors to the king's chambers were locked for a very long time and thought that the king was taking care of his bodily needs. Whatever the case was, the servants got worried when Eglon did not open his door for hours. They retrieved the key and opened the door themselves, only to find their king dead on the floor. Needless to say, by this time, Ehud had disappeared from this place far out of sight. As soon as he reached the borders of Israel, he sounded a trumpet and established himself as Israel's leader, citing that God once again had delivered them from the hands of this tyrant king. The Israelites, under Ehud's leadership, were able to secure their borders, and the land had rest for 80 years. Beloved, the moral of this story is that it is important to stay close to the Lord. When a people or a person displeases the Lord, in his sovereignty, he will raise up all manner of tyranny to afflict until they acknowledge their wrongdoing and return to the Lord. If you are facing afflictions of some sort in your life today, and you know that the relationship with the Lord is estranged, return to the Lord, as this God of the Bible is still able to deliver and set free. Please remember to share with others and subscribe so you can continue to receive these weekly stories from the Bible. God bless you is my prayer.